morning, students! We are now on the fourth quarter. Are you happy of what you've learned in mathematics? If yes, send me a thumbs up or a like for this video. I am back on your screen to give you more and teach you more. Again, this is Teacher Debbie who will make your mathematics journey exciting and easy. Today, I will teach one of the theorems in Mathematics 8. In this video, you will learn about illustrating triangle inequalities, particularly the Hinge theorem. So what are you waiting for? Get your paper and pen, have fun, and enjoy learning while watching this video. So here are our learning targets. So at the end of the session, you are expected to first, understand the concept of Hinge theorem. Second, illustrate theorem on triangle inequalities, the Hinge theorem, and lastly, appreciate the Hinge theorem by identifying its real-life examples. Before we start, I'd like to ask you, do you know what is a hinge? Look around, you can find it within the area. Where do we usually see a hinge? Yes, hinge can be found at home. Hinge can be found in a door frame and usually used in carpentry. It is a combination of two flat bars that connects the door and the door frame. It is also known as bisagra. Tama ka! Ito ay mas kilala sa tawag na bisagra sa Bicol. Did you know that you also have hinge in your body? So what part of your body can you find it? The human hinge can be found in the elbow, in the finger joints, toe joints, and ankles. It contains muscles, ligaments, and other tissues that stabilizes the joint. So this morning, we will know the role of a hinge in mathematics. So let's get familiar of the mystery of the hinge of our door. And we will know that by reading the story entitled The Hinge of Our Door. Are you ready? Listen carefully and attentively because later there are questions that I will be asking you. A young girl named Jeremy is having difficulty in understanding their lesson in Mathematics 8. She decided to stop answering her module and stand in front of the window. She can't stop thinking about the Hinge theorem. She's looking for the objects at home that applies the Hinge theorem. She brings her pen and paper and starts looking around. Oh, I knew it! Our door and the door frame are the best examples of illustrating the Hinge theorem. The door and the door frame form an angle. She started to sketch her ideas and explore the theorem herself. Jeremy traces the bottom edges of the door and the door frame, which formed an angle with a vertex H. The corner of the door as point E and the corner of the door frame as point C. Take note. There it is. The name of the angle formed is my nickname. It's angle check. What if I make a line connecting the corners? It will form a triangle. The name of the triangle is triangle check. If I widely open the door, the angle formed is the included angle. It forms a larger angle. Here is Jeremy's sketch of a widely open door. The door and the door frame can form many different angles and triangles. Jeremy, take note of the lengths of the edges of the door and the door frame using a meter stick. The bottom width of the door frame measures 154 cm. The bottom width of the door measures 150 centimeters. She also measures the included angle using a large protractor. So angle check measures 120 degrees. The side opposite the angle measures 263.3 centimeters. What if I slightly close the door? The bottom length of the door and the door frame remains the same, but the side of the triangle opposite the angle, which is also the third side, becomes shorter. I am 100% sure that my illustrations and findings completely explain the Hinge theorem. I completely learned the theorem that if two sides of a triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, and the included angle of the first is larger than the included angle of the second, then the third side of the first is longer than the second. Now, let's analyze and internalize the concepts presented in this story. Ihanda ang mga papel at ballpen. So, I will be flashing questions on the slides for you to answer. So, meron ding time limit na ibibigay para sagutan ang mga tanong. Tignan natin kung kayo ay nakinig sa ating story. So, let's start. So, who is the character in this story? 5 seconds starts now. Time's up. It's Jeremy. Very good. Next question. What are the important objects in this story? Okay, that's enough. So we have hinge, door, and door frame. Magaling. Mukhang nakinig nga kayo. What are the geometric terms or figures formed by those objects? Tingnan natin. So we have sides, vertex, and angles. So ilalaman yun sa mga terms na nabanggit sa storya. How are the angles formed in the story? So medyo mahirap na ang katanungan. The angles formed by the bottom edges of the door and the door frame. So kung makikita ninyo, yung bottom edges ng door frame at ng door ang siyang nag-create ng angle. So we have two angles formed here. Fifth question. What are the triangles formed in the story? Okay, time's up. So that will be the last question for the easy round. Let's see if you got the correct answer. So the triangles formed by the edges of the door and the door frame are triangle Che and triangle May. So we have it here. We have triangle Che and triangle May. Did you get a perfect score? Bravo! Galing! So let's see if you can still get a perfect score in our second set of questions. Before that, let me ask you, how do we name a vertex, a side, and an angle? So let's see if you know it already as we read the story. So you have 10 seconds to answer. What is the triangle formed by a door frame and a widely open door? You have 10 seconds. Time's up. So, the widely open door and the door frame formed triangle. Check. Very good. You got it right. Next question. What are the first two sides of triangle check? Time's up. So the first two sides of triangle check are side CH and side HE. Galing talaga. What is the side formed by the corners of the door and the door frame, which is also the third side of triangle check? Time's up. So that side is side CE. So later, we will also identify the third side of the second triangle. So here, the widely open door and the door frame has its corners C and E. And connecting C and E formed the third side of the triangle, which is side CE. How about the triangle formed by a door frame and the slightly closed door? So at first, Cherry may have the widely open door. How about the triangle formed by a slightly closed door? Timer starts now. 2, 1, time's up. So that is the triangle formed by the door frame and slightly closed door is triangle May. So you have it here. We have MAY. Name it. The first two sides of triangle May. Time's up. Let's see if you get the correct answer. So the first two sides of triangle May are side MA and side AY. Wow! Amazing. You got it all correctly. So we have it here. We have MA, side MA, and side AY. Now let me give you a more thrilling question. What is the side formed by the corners of the door and the door frame, which is the third side of triangle May? Time's up. It's side MY. Bravo. So you have it. We have MY, which measures 152 centimeters. Let's have some more. Now, describe the lengths of the first two sides of triangle Che and triangle May. Are the lengths of the first two sides of the triangle affected by the opening, which is widely, or closing slightly of the door? Time's up. So, medyo mahirap na. So, naapektuhan nga ba nung pagsara at pagbukas ng door yung lengths ng first two sides of the triangle? So, no. The length of the door and the door frame remains the same regardless how wide or close the opening of the door. Tignan nyo. Nananatiling 154 centimeters si CH and HE. Nung si HE naman ay may measure na 150 centimeters. Yung pintuan ay nakabukas, so widely open. And when Cherry May slightly closed the door, the measure of MA for the door frame remains the same as to the length of the side of the door. So, ibig sabihin, hindi naapektuhan yung measurement or yung lengths ng door and door frame sa pagsara o pagbukas ng pinto. Wow, very good analysis. You got it correct. Now let's compare. What happened when Cherry May widely opened the door? How about when she slightly closed the door? Describe the included angle and the third side of the two triangles. Time's up. Tignan natin kung mapa-perfect ninyo ang second set of questions. So the answer is, the wider the angle of the opening, the longer the opposite. So that's the opposite being meant is the side. So if the lengths of the first two sides of the triangle are congruent, and we have the first included angle larger than the second, then the side opposite the larger angle is longer than the second. So widely open door, the angle is 120 degrees, and on the slightly closed door, we have angle May, which is 60 degrees. As you can see, no 120 degrees yung angle, the measure of the third side is 263.3 centimeters, while the slightly closed door, we have 152 centimeters. So what happened to the length of the third side? So it becomes shorter, precisely. So the wider the angle of the opening of the door, the longer the opposite side. So, yung tinutukoy na opposite side is the third side. So, here are the findings on the measurements of the door and the door frame. So, let's compare it. So, let's complete the table by putting the relationships or the appropriate measurements and relationships. So, what's the first triangle is triangle Che, and the second one is triangle May. How about the sides? We have the first side of triangle Che, CH, which measures 154 centimeters. Second side. How about May? We also have side MA with a length 154 centimeters. So we have here the first triangle and the second. So they have the same lengths as to the first side. How about the second side? So they are equal. Pag sinabi natin the same, they are equal. How about the second side? So we have HE, and its length is 150 centimeters. So the second side of the second triangle is side AY with a length 150 centimeters. So what is the appropriate relationship? Very good. They are also equal. How about the third side? So the third side of triangle Che is CE. So its length is 263.3 centimeters. And how about the third side of May? The third side of May is side MY with a length 152 centimeters. So what's the relationship of CE to MY? It's greater than. So what do you think is the reason that makes the third side of the first triangle greater than the second? So let's see if it is affected by the angle or the opening of the angle. So the measure of angle check is 120 degrees compared to angle May, which is 60 degrees. Mas malaking angle, mas mahabang opposite side. But take note, there are first conditions that to consider. So the length of the two sides of the two triangles are congruent. Now let's make a generalization. So what does the Hinge theorem tells us? Would you mind if you translate it into your own words? Tumpak, exactly and absolutely. So, if two sides of two triangles are congruent and the measure of the first angle is larger than the second, then the third side of the first triangle is longer than the second. Okay, in what real-life perspective or principle can we associate the Hinge theorem? I-compare naman natin siya sa totoong buhay. Okay, for me, we can compare it to a person's level of understanding. So, the more that the person learns, the longer or the wider the understanding or the patience that he or she has. Or the more that the person is interested, the more that he or she learns. So that is a direct relationship. Now, you can do this by group with your parents or with your siblings, or you can do this alone. So with your group mates, use the door frame and the door in the classroom. So in this case, you are now at home. So if you're at home, you're going to make use of your door and door frame at home. You will use meter stick and a protractor to check if Jeremy's conclusion is true. Use the other two angle measurements to check if the conclusion still applies. So kung si Jeremy ang ginamit niyang angle measures ay 120 degrees doon sa widely open door and 60 degrees doon sa slightly closed door, this time you will make use of other angle measurements to check or verify if the conclusion of Jeremy still applies. So you have 5 minutes to do it. Make use of your paper and pen to make a sketch. Make use of meter stick in measuring the edges of the door and the door frame, and use a protractor in measuring the angle. So let's see. Does it apply? Exactly, it is, because it is a Hinge theorem. So it's still the same. Now let's deepen your understanding on Hinge theorem. Let's have this activity entitled Measurements that Satisfy My Conditions. Read the mathematical conditions in the third column. Complete the measurements of the figures in the first column using the conditions. Write the measurements on the correct part of the triangles. Then explain your answer. So let's have this example. So we have the figure here on the first column. Then we will read first the condition. Show that side AD, we have it here, is greater than side DB. So, paano mangyayari na magiging mas mahaba si AD and kesa kay DB given this measurement? So you have angle measures. Where are you going to put these angle measurements here? So since we have AD, side AD is greater than DB, we will pick the larger angle and put it on the opposite angle of side AD. So, angle ACD measures 31 degrees and measure of angle DCB measures 29 degrees. Why? The longer the third side is opposite the larger angle. So we have it. So if the two sides of a triangle is congruent to the other two sides of another triangle, and what are those sides? Those are denoted by the tick mark. So DC, the reflexive property, is also congruent to BC. So AC is congruent to BC. So those are the two congruent sides of the triangle. So angle BCD measures, here it is, BCD measures 29 degrees and ACD measures 31 degrees. So if the two sides of a triangle is congruent to the other two sides of another triangle, the angle opposite the longer side is the larger angle, and the angle opposite the shorter side is the smaller angle. So that's perfect. Now, this is your time to answer some question. So perform this one. We have number 1. Show that side HI is less than side GH using the angles 45 degrees and 46 degrees. Okay, next. Number 2. Show that angle LJM is less than angle LJK. Why? So you have the measurements 8 centimeters and 6 centimeters. So much better if you have the figure, then you simply put the measurements. Then write your reason. Number 3. So this is the thing. We have show that angle NPO is greater than, so we have angle NPO is greater than angle PNQ. The measurements given are 7 centimeters and 3 centimeters. Okay, let's check your answers. So for number 1, okay, your answer is correct. We have angle HEI is equal to 45 degrees to show that HI is less than GH, wherein GFH, angle GFH is equal to 46 degrees. Mas mahaba si GH dahil mas malaki si angle GFH. Very good. So if the two sides of a triangle are congruent to other two sides of another triangle, the angle opposite the shorter side is the smaller angle, and the angle opposite the longer side is the larger angle. Number 2. So what side measures 8 centimeters? It's LK. It's because the given condition is show that LJM is less than LJK. So LJM, so it's here, LJM is less than, so it measures, LM measures, it should be LM. LM measures 6 centimeters and LK measures 8 centimeters. The reason is the side opposite the smaller angle is shorter and the side opposite the larger angle is longer. Item. That's the last item. Okay, you got it all correct. Very good. So for your assignment, give at least one real-life example showing the Hinge theorem. Draw and label its parts. Make a short explanation of your illustration. You can use the math story as an example and a guide. So that's all for today. I hope you learned it completely and clearly. So if you still have questions, you can comment it so that I will be able to answer your queries. Thank you for your active participation and happy learning in Mathematics 8. Anyway, we have this as your rubrics for Friday. Goodbye for now.